Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to lesson 17 in our reading Wit and Wisdom, a Season of Change. Now, as our screen is loading, and here we go, we can get started. So remember, we have those big pizza questions. These are the questions that we take slices at a time and bites at a time to answer because we are wanting to build our knowledge on this question. How does change impact people and nature? Our pizza slice question is, how does the chameleon change? The pizza bite question that we are going to take is, what does a deeper exploration of the problem and resolution reveal in a color of his own? So, as we are talking today about what is going on with our main character, the chameleon, and his problem and resolution, I want us to think, how did exploring the problem and resolution help us understand the little yellow leaf? Hmm. What was the little yellow leaf's problem in the story? Tell me in the puzzle. He didn't want to leave the tree. He wasn't ready yet. But what helped change his mind about leaving the tree? Tell me in the puzzle. What was the resolution? He found the little scarlet leaf, right? And because having that friend, he was able to have the confidence to go through that change and fall off the tree. So, as we are exploring the problem and resolution in a color of his own, I want you to think, what connections, what can we find that is the same with the little yellow leaf in a color of his own? The little yellow leaf was not ready to leave the great oak tree, right? And he was alone. But when he found the little scarlet leaf and had a new friend, he had the confidence in that friend to move on, right? And they left together and they soared through the sky. So I want you to think, what can we learn that is a lot like that story with the chameleon? All right, so when we are exploring the problem and resolution, we can look at what hints the author was giving us at the beginning of the story, the middle, and the end. So on this page, this was pages 3 and 4 in the book. It said, elephants are gray, pigs are pink. All animals have a color of their own. What do you think the phrase a color of their own means? All animals have a color of their own. Huh. Well, are all elephants gray? Most of them. Are all goldfish orange? Yeah. Hmm. So, what do you think the author was trying to tell us when he said all animals have a color of their own? Tell me in the puzzle, what do you think the author is doing with that? Hmm. Hmm. I'm thinking the author wants us to make the connection that most animals have a color that stays with them their whole lives. Not all pigs are pink, right? Some pigs can be black, pigs can be brown, some can have spots, but does their color change? No. So why is this important to our story that he introduced the parrots and the goldfish and the elephants and the pigs? Because they have something that's unique to them, right? But what animal do we learn that does not have one color that is unique to them? The chameleon, right? So how does the author introduce the chameleon's problem? Let's look at this page and see if we can use text evidence to help us figure it out. One day, a chameleon who was sitting on a tiger's tail said to himself, if I remain on a leaf, I shall be green forever. And so I too will have a color of my own. So, how does Leo Leone introduce our main character's problem? The character tells us, right? What does the character want? A color of his own. His problem is he changes color with his environment. Whatever he touches, he changes to that color. And we can even see that in the illustration. So as the story moves on, I almost said the little yellow leaf. The chameleon decides that he is going to stay on a green leaf, right? Because he wants to stay green forever. If he stays on that leaf, he'll stay green forever. So what happens after he tries to solve his problem the first time? Tell me in the puzzle, what happens after he gets on that green leaf? He starts to change colors. Why is he starting to change colors? Because what season are we in? The season is fall. So as the weather changes, as the sun goes down earlier and earlier and comes up later and later, remember, the less sunlight that trees get, the quicker that their leaves change colors. So he starts turning yellow, and then he turns red, and then what happens? He falls off the tree, and then he doesn't have a color of his own anymore. So was he able to solve the problem on his own? No. Who else had a hard time solving their problem on their own? So the main character's problem was that he just wanted a color that was unique to him, right? That was special to him. But he couldn't solve that problem alone. What does happen that solves the chameleon's problem? At the end of the book, what happens to the chameleon? He meets another chameleon, right? And so let's look at this page. It says, "I'm afraid not," said the other chameleon, who was older and wiser. "But," he added, "why don't we stay together? We will still change color wherever we go, but you and I will always be alike." Ooh. So our main chameleon, right? Our main character, he won't have one color that is his own, but how does his problem get resolved? Tell me in the puzzle. He's going to have a friend that will change colors with him, right? So his problem gets resolved by having a friend that will change colors with him. So how were the chameleon's attempts to solve his problem different from the beginning and the ending? What did he try to do first? Tell me in the puzzle, what did the chameleon try to do first to solve his problem? He tried to stay on that leaf. Did it work? No. Also think, was he with a friend when he was doing this? No, he was trying to solve this problem on his own. What did he do at the end to solve his problem? He met another chameleon, right? He met another chameleon, and was his problem resolved? Yeah. So as we are thinking about our story and our problem, our resolution, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about what can we keep in our hearts and our minds about this story. I want you to think, the chameleon started out alone, but at the end of the story, tell me what happened in the ebb puzzle. In the beginning and the middle, he was alone, but at the end, he had what? He had a friend that would change colors with him. So it's better to go through changes with a friend? I wonder if that's something that we could keep in our minds. All right, guys. So we're going to move right along. We have another pizza bite question. and that is, how do I choose evidence that supports my topic? Now, this is talking about writing. Now, we have talked about coming up with a topic statement. Remember, if we have a question and we need to give our top bun, our topic statement, we are answering that question in the very first sentence of our writing. The juicy middle part is our evidence. It's our facts that supports, that matches what we say in our topic statement. So we're trying to answer the question, and we're going to be working on this tomorrow. We're going to be writing 4 sentences about this question. In the story, what helps the chameleon change? I need a topic sentence to help start out my writing to answer that question. I could say, this is going to be our topic statement. We need to mention the character and answer what the question wants us to answer, right? So the chameleon changes when blank. In the story, what helps the chameleon change? So if I'm answering that, I need to talk about the chameleon and what makes him change. What helped the chameleon change? The chameleon changes when he blank. Tell me in the ed puzzle. Finish this sentence. The chameleon changes when he meets a new friend, right? The chameleon changes when he meets another chameleon. So now we have our topic statement, right? Now we have to use evidence from the story to tell how the chameleon changed throughout the story. So the evidence is the juicy middle part of our writing. So at the beginning, we have our problem. We learned that the chameleon changes in the beginning. He wants a color of his own. He thinks, if I remain on a leaf, I shall be green forever, but the leaf changes color. So we could say, first, the chameleon tried to stay on a leaf. But then in the middle, his problem changes. His color turns black in the winter, but he meets a wise old chameleon. And they say, why don't we stay together? You and I will always be alike. So in the middle, so first, the chameleon tries to stay on a leaf and still changes color. Then he meets another chameleon that wants to stay with him. So there's 2 juicy details to answer my topic statement. At the end, what happened? At the end, the chameleons stayed together and lived happily ever after. So when we are using evidence, we need to make sure that it is true and it comes from what we are talking about. So this was all evidence from the book, From a Color of His Own. In our next lesson, we'll be discussing our writing activity for our time with the chameleon. In our writing, we will write about our focus question using a topic statement in 3 sentences with evidence. So we are trying to answer the question, how does the chameleon change? And we just talked about that in this last slide. Tomorrow, we're going to be working together to get our writing started so we can answer this question completely. So we will have our topic statement. We'll have 3 sentences with that evidence, so facts from the book, and we'll use words like first, then, and finally. All right, guys, we're going to do a deep dive. So the other day we talked about sentences with multiple subjects. Remember, our subjects are our nouns or pronouns or people, places, things, animals, ideas. Our verbs are action words. It's something we can do. So sentences can have a subject that has more than one action. So let's look at this sentence. It says, the leaf turned yellow and dropped from the tree. Now the word underlined is my subject. It's my thing. But what did my thing do? It turned yellow. There's that first action word. And it dropped from the tree. In the sentence, there are 2 action words that describe what the leaf does. It turned yellow and it dropped. Let's look at some other examples. It says the chameleon looked for a friend and finally found one. What is our subject? What animal is our subject? The chameleon, right? So I underlined our subject, and what did the chameleon do? It looked and it found a friend. Let's look at another one. It says the chameleon and his friend, ooh, so we have two subjects, stayed and changed color together. So what did the two chameleons do? They stayed together and they changed color. They had two actions. And the last one, it says the chameleon smiled and talked to his friend. The chameleon is my subject. What two things did the chameleon do? It smiled and talked to his friend. Now, do chameleons talk like people in real life? No, which is why we know that this is a book that tells a story. All right, so now it's your turn. I have underlined our subject in each sentence. In the Ed puzzle, you guys are going to write what are the two action words that our subject does. Are you ready? Let's go. The chameleon ran and jumped on a rock. The chameleon ran and jumped on a rock. Tell me the two actions that the chameleon did. It ran and jumped, right? Think about what a chameleon can do. Think about the actions that it can do, things that the chameleon can do with its body, with its mind. Think about actions. The chameleon laughed and cried. The chameleon laughed and cried. In the Ed puzzle, tell me, what did the chameleon do? There were two action words. The chameleon laughed, ha 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 ha, and cried. Those are two things I can do. Those are two actions. It's something I can do. So the chameleon laughed and cried. Laughed and cried were our verbs. The chameleon ran towards his friend and hugged him. I'm going to read that one again. The chameleon ran towards his friend and hugged him. What two actions did the chameleon do in that sentence? Sounds like Pizza Guy and Little Cat have an answer. The chameleon ran towards his friend and hugged him. Ran and hugged were our verbs. All right, second grade Smarties, we are learning so many things with our chameleon and his changing of colors and his friendships. We're learning about verbs and subjects. Whew! There's a lot of growing in our noggins, isn't there? All right, second grade Smarties, remember to always keep that growth mindset. Good learners do hard things, and I will see you guys with another lesson soon. Bye.